Have you ever thought about what really makes you a great leader? I'm not talking about just being the boss or having a fancy title. I'm talking about someone who can inspire you, who makes you feel like your voice matters, and who pushes you to be the best version of yourself. Sounds pretty amazing, right? Well, that's exactly what Brene Brown explores in her book Dare to Lead. It's not just another leadership book. It's a powerful guide to becoming a leader who is not afraid to be vulnerable, who leads with courage and who genuinely cares about the people around them. Today we are going to take a look into the most important lessons from the Dare to Lead. By the end of this video, you will see why true leadership isn't about having all the answers, but about being brave enough to ask the right question. So, let's get started. Vulnerability, the real superpower. First up, let's talk about vulnerability. Now, I know what you are thinking. Vulnerability sounds like a bad thing, right? We are often taught that being vulnerable means being weak or exposed. But here is the kicker. Brene Brown argues that vulnerability is actually the most accurate measure of courage. Think about it. To lead, you need to be willing to take risks, to step into the unknown, and to be open to others. That's not easy. It takes guts to admit you don't have all the answers, to ask for help when you need it, or to share something personally with your team. For instance, you are in a meeting and things aren't going as planned. Instead of pretending everything's fine, a great leader should say, "Hey, I'm not sure what's the best movies here. What do you all think?" That's a vulnerability in action. It's showing up, being real, and inviting others to do the same. When you're vulnerable, you create a space where people feel safe to be themselves, to make mistakes, and to grow. It's like saying it's okay to not be perfect, but let's figure this out together. And that, my friend, is where true leadership begins. Rumbling with vulnerability, leaning into the tough stuff. Now let's get into something Brene calls rumbling with vulnerability. This isn't just about being vulnerable for the sake of it. It's about facing tough conversation, asking the hard questions, and sticking with it even when it's uncomfortable. Imagine there is a disagreement in your team. Instead of sweeping it under the rug, a courageous leader would address it head on. They say, "I know this is a tough topic, but let's talk about it. I want to hear everyone's perspectives." It's about staying engaged even when the going gets tough. Rumbling with vulnerability is like flexing a muscle. The more you do it, the stronger you get. It's about learning to stay in the discomfort of growth and change, rather than avoiding it, and trust me, the rewards are worth it. You build strong relationships, make better decisions, and create a culture where everyone feels valued. So next time you're faced with a tough situation, try rumbling with vulnerability. Lean into the conversation, listen with empathy, and don't be afraid to admit when you are unsure. It's not about having all the answers. It's about being brave enough to find them together. Living your values, walking the talk. Alright, let's talk about values. We all have them, right? But here is the thing. It's not enough to just talk about what you believe in. True leadership means living your values day in and day out. Brene challenges us to get really clear on what our core values are. Maybe for you it's honesty, kindness, or integrity. Whatever they are, these values should be your North Star, guiding your decisions and actions. Let's break it down with an example. Say, one of your core values is respect. How do you show that in your daily life? Are you really listening when others speak? Are you treating everyone with kindness, no matter who they are? Living your values means making sure your actions match your words. But here is the catch. Living your values isn't always easy. There will be times when it's tempting to take shortcuts or bend the rules. But great leaders stick to their values even when it's hard. They know the consistency builds trust and respect. So ask yourself, what are my core values and how am I living them? It's a powerful exercise and it can transform the way you lead. Building trust, the glue that holds team together. Let's dive into one of the most important aspects of leadership, trust. Without trust, nothing else really matters. But trust isn't something that just magically happens. It's built slowly over time through your action. Brene introduces a concept called braving, which stands for boundaries, reliability, accountability, vault, integrity, non-judgment, and generosity. Sounds like a lot, right? But don't worry, we'll break it down. Boundaries, respecting others' limits and setting your own. Reliability, doing what you say you will do time and time again. Accountability, owning your mistake and making things right. Vault, keeping private information confidential, No gossiping. Integrity. Choosing courage over comfort, even when it's tough. Non-judgment. Letting people be vulnerable without judging them. Generosity. Always assuming the best intention in others. When you practice these principles, you build a culture of trust within your team. People know they can count on you, and that makes them more likely to take risks and put their best foot forward. Trust is a glue that holds everything together, especially in challenging times. So think about how you can practice braving today. Maybe it's being more consistent with your promises, or maybe it's about giving others the benefit of the doubt. Whatever it is, know that building trust is one of the most important things you can do as a leader. Empathy and connection, the power of listening. Let's talk about empathy. Now, empathy isn't about fixing someone's problems or giving advice. It's about truly connecting with them, feeling what they are feeling, and understanding their perspective. Leaders often feel like they need to have all the answers, but sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to just listen. Imagine a team member comes to you feeling overwhelmed. Instead of jumping in with solutions, try this. I'm here for you. Tell me what's going on. That simple act of listening can make all the difference. Empathy also plays a huge role in difficult conversations. When you approach this situation with empathy, you're likely to find solutions that respects everyone's needs and feelings. You are more likely to build relationship based on trust and mutual respect. So, next time someone comes to you with a problem, remember, you don't always have to fix it. Sometimes just being there and listening is enough. It's how you build deep, meaningful connection with your team. Courage over comfort, the hard path. One of the most powerful messages from Brene is about choosing courage over comfort. Leadership isn't always easy. Sometimes it requires making tough decisions, standing up for what's right, and taking actions that might not be popular. It's so tempting to stay in your comfort zone, to avoid conflict, or to play it safe. But here is the thing, true leadership are willing to take the hard path. They are willing to have uncomfortable conversations, to challenge the status quo, and to push for change. But don't get me wrong, it's not about being reckless. It's about being thoughtful, intentionally, and committed to doing what's right, even when it's hard. Choosing courage over comfort also means being willing to fail. Yes, fail. Because failure isn't the end. It's a part of the journey. It's how we learn, grow, and become stronger. So, the next time you're faced with a difficult decision, ask yourself, am I choosing courage or am I choosing comfort? Remember, the best leaders are the ones who dare to be brave. Servant leadership, putting others first. Finally, let's talk about a concept that's close to my heart, servant leadership. This idea flips traditional leadership on its head. Instead of being about power or control, it's about serving others, helping them grow and empowering them to be their best. Servant leaders put their team's need above their own. They listen more than they speak. They focus on creating an environment where everyone can thrive. Think about the best leader you have ever worked with. Chances are they are just like tell you what to do. They supported you, encouraged you, and made you feel like you could achieve anything. That's servant leadership in action. In today's world, where we often see leaders who prioritize their own interest, servant leadership is like a breath of fresh air. It reminds us that leadership isn't about us. It's about the people we lead and the impact we have on their lives. So if you want to make a real difference as a leader, start by serving your team. Lift them up, support them, and watch how they flourish. Here are my final thoughts. Dare to Lead isn't just a book about leadership. It's a guide to living a life of courage, compassion, and connection. Brene Brown challenges us to rethink what it means to be a leader. She encourages us to embrace vulnerability, build trust, and lead with our values. If you are looking to become a leader who truly inspires others, who makes a difference, and who leaves a lasting impact, the lessons from this book are invaluable. It's not about having all the answers. It's about being brave enough to ask the right question, to listen, and to grow. So if you are ready to step up and lead with courage, take these ideas to heart. True leadership starts from within. It starts with daring to lead. If you enjoyed this summary and found it helpful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more book summaries. What book should I summarize next? Drop your suggestions in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.